Another form of batch processing is memorized transactions. Whereas our batch processing allows us to group together reports to create an automatic procedure, memorized transactions allows us to take individual events and create those as automatic procedures. To find our list of memorized transactions, simply go to List, Memorize Transaction List, and you will see each of the items. You'll notice in this case that there are general ledger entries and checks. You can also do this with payments or bills or invoices, such as recurring monthly charges to clients. If I double-click on an item within the memorized transaction, it'll show me exactly what the item is. If I close out, it'll bring me right back to my transaction listing. If I do a right-click on an item and go to Edit Transaction, I will see the system that was set up for reoccurrence. In this particular case, you'll notice that I've asked it to remind me of the insurance payment once a month. However, I could have that check be automatically entered if I'd like to. Now, when you select Remind Me, QuickBooks will tell you the reoccurring transactions are going to occur when you open up your company file. Unfortunately, it does not list each individual item. It'll simply tell you that 8 transactions are being recorded or 2 transactions are being recorded. It's your choice as to whether you want them to be automatically entered or just to get reminders of them. When I set this reminder, it'll automatically default to once a month. Now notice I have the ability to set the next date. This is not only important when you're first establishing your transaction, but for changes. Let's say, for instance, that Sargent Insurance has increased their rates and I'd like to change my check. I'm going to double-click on this check, go back in, and make my appropriate change. Now it's important at this point not to save and close this check if I do not want to issue it. What I want to do for the transaction is go to Edit, Memorize Check. When I memorize the check, rather than creating a new one, I'm simply going to say Replace. That now will change the memorized transaction. I'm not interested in actually creating this check today, so I'm going to simply go ahead and clear my check before closing out of QuickBooks. Now notice that my insurance check is there, my amount has been increased. If I'd like this date to be another other than 1/15, I'll simply go to my memorized transaction and I can change my date accordingly. The memorized transactions are very easy to create. For any item that you want to create a transaction on, simply enter into that item, type in your information, go up to the word Edit, and down to Memorize Invoice. This invoice at this point now will be given a name. I can choose whether or not to be reminded, choose whether to be automatically entered, and set my actual starting date. Notice that I can say that there are only 6 of these invoices that should go through. Notice also that I can ask it to be entered a few days in advance. When I'm happy with my choices, I'll say OK. Again, remember, it is not until I hit Save and Close that this transaction is an actual event. If you're just changing your memorized transaction, you'll want to go ahead and close out. When I go back to Lists and go back to Memorized Transactions, I'd like you to note that it is possible to put this screen on your toolbar, but not any individual event itself. The quickest way to get to these transactions is actually to use Control-T. Use your memorized transactions in conjunction with your batch reporting, and you'll find that your procedures are greatly simplified.